I spent many years studying all the world's religions and philosophy and metaphysics and quantum physics and psychology and depth psychology and shamanism and everything you can imagine, because I felt like it was my job to get to the bottom of what is causing all this separation and confusion in people. And I coupled that with, I learned to meditate at age 12 when I went to the Self-Realization Fellowship. My mother joined the Self-Realization Fellowship when I was 12.
Very cool. I've done that too.
Yeah, and then I went to the summer camp with the monks when I was 15, and then many, many things since then, and including a long string of plant medicine explorations of many, many years. But I've tried to make sure that I took both paths: meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, art therapy, contemplative meditation, and then the plant medicine path as well, so I could weigh the two out and see what are the differences, what are the things that are in harmony, and that was very important to me to do, so that people didn't just write me off as a druggie or something,
Yeah. Well, I love that you said that, because as a third generation pastor's kid, growing up in church my whole life, number one, I had a lot of beliefs about God, and probably still do have some lingering that are just terribly destructive and, prevent true spiritual growth from taking place. Because how do you grow towards something you're terrified of or feel ashamed of? It's very much a spiritual dead end. And to your point on the philosophers, I agree completely that when we're talking about the absolute plane, there is no differentiation at all in God. And it's interesting to read the philosophers where they sort of, some of them will sort of acknowledge that, but they're like, but we live in the relative plane where there is differentiation. So what good does it help us to talk about how in the absolute plane there's nothing but, oneness and non-linearity and stuff? We're in this plane, so let's talk about how this plane functions. And I get that. But like you said earlier, you've got to at some point go beyond the head knowledge and go to the direct experience of God, which is why I think we're both big Plotinus fans, because in Neoplatonism, he posited hey, God is actually the absolute, the one, they call it, and the entire purpose of existence is to experience or achieve union with the one, the absolute, mystical union. And so Plotinus to me is a very unique philosopher in that he brought in more of that heart element to philosophy, where, hey, the whole purpose of all of this knowledge is really to have the direct gnosis of the divine itself.
Well, Plotinus was really a mystic. Sometimes he's referred to as a metaphysician. Right. I don't know if you know this about Plotinus, but did you know he is the most commonly referenced philosopher by all quantum physicists?
Wow, I did not know that.
I've probably read 150 books on quantum physics, and his name comes up constantly.
Amazing.
They refer back to Plotinus all the time, and it's what really makes me happy is to see that they're actually reading Plotinus,
Yeah.